Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. I'm guided and led by Spirit, and may we find peace and solace in this episode. Those that perpetrate crimes against children. The subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. All cases, names, people are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. Recording this episode where we September 12. My schedule opened up, so let me utilize the time efficiently, because the Sunday episode 37 podcast is growing tremendously. And so I think I'm going to do the Maddie McCain and Liam King show together as one episode. Everyone's done this case 1,000 times. Man, we know what happened to Maddie, right? However, and I saw some video and an article. Now there's this reporter or someone, feels like a rat. You would call them a ratta, working for the pedophile trafficking motherfuckers. Anyway, we'll keep it colloquial. Now there's a new theory. Maddeleine McCain was wandering in the streets of Portugal all by herself. It was dark, must have been around midnight. And allegedly, a woman strikes her with a vehicle. Fearing to be apprehended by the police, she tucked Maddie away and drove off into the night. So in the original story, not only was it impossible for the man or whatever, there's a theory, stood outside the window and pulled Maddie out. Kind of smacks of, remember when they tried to fit through the stupid window in the basement of the young lass that was murdered by her pedophile parents on Christmas Eve? Somehow they were going to fit through a window. All roads lead to the home. However, it's interesting, and I don't mean to be, I just need to share some numerology information before we get going. The reason why these two cases were going to be in the main was because we're doing 37, right? 37-10-1. Now, interestingly, 37-10-1 predominantly in the main, or let's say political issues, high-level corporate, you can even say high-level corporate governance, you can even say state, then we go national and then federal and so on, right? But 3710 can be all of those, but it's a group of people that are in cahoots to do something. Unfortunately, it can also, unfortunately, it's usually bad because we're dealing with true crime, but 3710-1 is a powerful number. I'll get into that a bit later. But 3710-1 also can include a family situation. Why? 7 are the parents. 3, collective knowledge now of parents, 7, 10, 1, in a transactional state that involves one way or the other, possibly money, inheritance, insurance, feed the 10 ones. Here's my little Madeleine McCain, 3 years old, wandering through the streets of Portugal. The theory is running thin because they couldn't pin it on the German guy, right? It's not to say the German guy's squeaky clean, he's a dirty pig himself. But they try to pin Maddie's crime on him. So they are even more disgusting. The parents, Maddie's parents, let's be clear. The authorities and the 10 ones that still circle the pot. Oh, knew this of Maddie, knew this. Dollar signs, pound signs. Oh, we must buy this year. Turn it into a money-making machine. Oh, Roberto, they want to do it for, so we have legal fees and all sorts of fees so we can help find Maddie. Why don't you look up your ass? Then we've got Liam King. Yes, nonverbal, autistic, right? The common narrative, or let's say not narrative, let's say for whatever reason, and I'm not a doctor and need to study it, kids with certain kinds of autism are attracted to water, or they just go wandering off and they think water's solid and they walk in, whatever it is, right? So when Liam goes missing, the pretext to he's missing, I believe, his mom traveled to a friend or relative, but they were all together, right? They left him alone in the room for a moment, and he goes wandering off in the middle of the day or night, right? Now, interesting and not very good. September the 7th, when he is reported missing, September 7, right? We have a 7 at the start of the day. Murder of innocence. Not accidental, he walked into the water, thought it was sandpits and started playing in the water, but couldn't understand why he's, All right, let's see. Maybe I'm being over the top with it. Let's see. September the 7th. 16-7. That's a very odd number and it kind of makes sense based on what I feel is the outcome here. 16-7, you would normally find at a kidnapping event. 16-7 is the kidnapping number as well, right? So when a child goes missing, 16-7, already someone's, he's been kidnapped. Or 16-7 can also be a serial killer. So what is going on here? 16-7. But then we find 25-7, 16-7-7. So there's repeating of numbers here, right? Now, I believe his mother and the biological father were having some kind of separation issues. So what these numbers, or there's some kind of, whatever the issue was, the parents weren't living together. 16-7 speaks about divorce, separation. So already we can say, okay, the theme of the numbers links up to the background story, but not to the narrative. In other words, there's a time differential according to the narrative and the numbers. And one can argue and say, well, if there's a 7 at the start of the day, of course, the child's not going to be alive. But hold on, he only goes missing, let's say, in the middle of these numbers, 16-7. So what's going on here? Already that says there's something going on here. Now, if to do the test for autism, right, in terms of numerology, we find in the intention all these 9s, the intention of the day before. So hidden, the day before when he is at home, remember, they travel after to go to friend or whatever the relative is. Look here, September 6th in the real, 15-6, 24-6, those are home numbers. But hidden, so when he was at home the day before, September the 6th, whenever they traveled, this happened in the home. This happened in the home, and then they traveled to wherever they were. In the +3, we'll just go through the numbers carefully. In the +3, the day before, all these 9s. So when we have autistic children, we find a build-up and a lot of 9s. Let's say if there is I'm not a doctor, I'm not qualified to say what happens, but when you have all those 9s will ping on the autism of the child or person. So one can surmise, while at home the night before, September the 6th, Liam may have had a thing, or does something in the home, or is pissing the mom off, or whatever. Right? So I would say, if we want to be objective and say there's an imbalance, because you've got all of these 9s, even when we just have like 1 or 2 in a day, that's already enough to get you to the end of your day. But when you got all of these 9s, we're talking the Energizer Bunny, right? So on the surface, in the action, the night before, the day before, all hunky-dory, 12-3. Looks like a normal family day. People waving at their white picket gates, through their windows, out their cars, walking dogs. Hidden, problem, 21-3. So there's an indication that I'm saying mom, that she's dealing with a situation, because in the +6 outcome, so in the evening of the night before the 7th, the night before, there's a 30 outcome 3. Mom is having a blowout. So let's go back one step. Young Liam, who is at home, is having a tremendous trigger in his spectrum, wherever that goes, wherever that is. Seemingly from the outside, from a family perspective, everything's fine, but dealing with the issue brings around a 21-3, which results in the mother having a blowout about the 21-3. That we find in the +6 from midnight. So let me be clear, September 6th, minimum, midnight that night to sunrise September 7, in the +6 on the day, 13-4. We reveal in the outcome of that day in the +6, 31-4. So already we've got 2 indications. Let's be clear here. We now know there's a 31-4. He passed in the water. And we'll get to the water issue as well. I just want to go here. In September the 7th, starts with the 7, right? Murder of innocence, confirmed by, in the +6, 13-4. A child is dead. This is before the call goes out during the daytime about a missing kid. This is happening at midnight. Now, I don't know what her exact travel plans were, but the 7 on September the 7th also indicates travel. Did she travel in the evening, phones a family member? This is the situation. What the fuck? And unfortunately, I got a hint, and I've just got it again. I had it when I was looking at these numbers. I'm going to share it now. Quite a ghastly one. You know when the burden is too much? The marriage is not going to work anyway. Why should I lug it around? Type thing. You know what I mean? So we find in a similar numbers in the case of Emmanuel. Remember Emmanuel? The night before, now we're looking in the +9, all is revealed. In the outcome of the night, the evening before, 33/6, is the number that brings around murder within the family. Now, here's second evidence, 3/3, collective knowing of what happened to Liam. But so I'm going to say again, minimum midnight of the night before. So in other words, when everyone goes to sleep, September the 6th, everyone goes to sleep. At midnight till sunrise the next day, everyone knew about it already. Everyone that is involved in what the outcome currently is. Whether there's another uncle or aunt that also knows but lives somewhere else, that's still to be decided, because we also have here +9 hidden, +9 the day before, hidden 24/6. This happened in the home. It is linked in the family. There's collective family knowledge of what happened. Now, yeah, could be an issue. I'll put it this way. This is sensitive nature. So they say they found him in water, right? Oh, okay. Okay. In the +3, I'll get back to what I'll add that anyway. In the +3, the day after, right? Outward, we have a 20 outcome 2. So the intention was for us, or police people, the community, the neighbors, sleuths, crime investigators, they will find the child in water. That's the intention, right? It's 20, in the +3 intention. This is the day they find him. Open, we see a 20 outcome 2, right? So the intention was, drive here quickly. What the hell are we going to do? Okay, plonk him in the pool, down the road, get inside here. We'll call it at this hour. Bop, 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 bop. Okay, we'll test that theory. Now, unfortunately, we find a clue that this may be, yes, a drowning, but not in the, I've done a case similar to this before on my channel. So we find him in open water. So technically, if they did a autopsy on him, they would find the exact match water that you would find in that particular pond, right, when they do autopsy. But here it's showing hidden 20 outcome 2, which means there's hidden water. And in many cases, so where's the hidden water, right? Your bath. So she may have drowned him, drove that side, put him in the pond. I believe whoever she was staying with is knowing of it, because there's a 29/11/2 before the open 20. And a 29/11/2 after the hidden 22. 20 outcome 2. 29/11/2. 2 people know about what, minimum 2 people would say, let's say, know the truth. Maybe the other family members, he had an episode, we couldn't revive him. Is it worth you going to jail just because he had issues? It's ghastly to think how people think. So there's a pact here, blood pact, 29/11/2 in the extreme. So if they did an autopsy, they would maybe say, but why has he got foam and a soapy water in his tummy versus leaves and twigs and dirty water or whatever, right? In the autopsy reveal. So the day after, in the +6, so this is September 8, The day starts with a 14-5. The whole story's bullshit. To protect the inner group, 14-5, so mommy and her future, because now the child doesn't have a future, the child has passed already. So now they're thinking about mommy and the immediate family, and then hidden 23-5, the bigger family. 32-5 is tampering with evidence in the physical. So there's another piece of evidence to say, well, he may have passed actually in his home. Then they travel through, and there's 2 crime scenes, 3, because whoever they stayed with or whoever she went to is another crime scene. And then the pond, so there's 3 crime scenes here. So 32-5, that is getting rid of evidence. Destroying of evidence. Oh, we didn't think, we drowned him in water, regular water. Okay. This is a terrible situation, and I think, or naturally what makes it worse, in my opinion, is the other family members know. Jesus. What a week, right? And the hits keep on coming, I hear someone say. And we're not even through the middle of September. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of 9s around. All right. Interestingly, Maddie's crime takes place in a 9-year as well, huh? I noticed something. Now, I haven't played back my other readings. I know I did another reading and unlisted it. Yes, I accept. But I wanted to look at this from a fresh perspective, with the +369 in as well, with a 72-hour scan. And what I just noticed just moments before recording, we have a terrible sequence of numbers that confirm in my humble opinion, that Maddie was handed over by instruction, and I'll show the numbers here, by instruction, so the parents, both parents would know, were instructed to hand Maddie over to the 10-1 people. We'll get to the rest of what, I was following the numbers as I was narrating, and the outcome is treacherous. I didn't plan on that. All right. So here we go. May the 3rd, right? So in the evening, we've got this turnaround. So we find, so I'm going to go to May 4. So this is midnight. So this is like midnight to sunrise, where supposedly Maddie goes missing, right? In that zone. Well, it was just before midnight in that zone. There's a 4 here. The 4, let me just, I want to get, yeah. The 4 is an instruction, and then the +9 reveals about a child, right? 4 is an instruction, and these 4s come from military type structures. No, Roberto, we're in Portugal. People are on holiday. So we see in the intention, May the 2nd, so May the 2nd, in the vicinity, in the vicinity 1910-1. The day after in the real, we have a 9 + 9 conflict tied to a 9 portal sequence. These motherfuckers. So in the intention, we see a plus, we see a plus. In the intention on the eve, so midnight to sunrise, let's say +1. In the intention is a 7. Not the action, in other words, or it shows in the real that she's been killed. No. 7, we're in the intention. So the intention of a 7, we're handing her over for what intention? 7, sacrifice. So far, just in case you were wondering, if you really were wondering, and I was, but there's no evidence of a car crash here. A car crash is 6s, like 6s, and the ant. Unfortunately, the intention was to restrain her, abduct her. So there's, well, yes, but you just said they handed it over, yes. Handed her over, yes. But when she was handed over, she was restrained. 21-3 is what I'm trying to get to. So she was held. If we want to get into the sex of the person that took her, was a 15-6 male. A male was in the vicinity of the crime. I'll repeat, a male. All right, let's see. So 14-5s on the day that she goes missing, or supposedly goes missing. A lot of 14-5s bullshit around. We got 999. There's chaos. In the action, there's a 10-1 of the midnight to sunrise in the +1. So the next day, that evening when everyone was running around, there's a 10-1. 10-1. I'll remind us, in the intention of the day before, in the intention, look what we have there. We got a 10-1, 19-10-1, 10-1 waiting at the door the night before. So the 10-1, however they took her, a van, whatever, it feels like a van all of a sudden, some kind of van. That 10-1 is parked outside somewhere the night before, and it's driving away from midnight to sunrise the next day. We got a staging event on the May the 3rd, all staged. 26, so beg your pardon. On the day, May the 3rd, in the +9. So in the middle, 17-8 cover up, 26-8 staging, 17-8 the production, the performance of about a child, the next loop, turnaround 13-4. Then we find ourselves with an 18-9 portal sequence. It's funny how they say The German guy, he was in the vicinity while Maddie was on holiday with her family. But if you read and listen to many other investigators and the actual investigators that were there, was it Batista, whatever his name was, that involved with the Pizzagate and all them motherfuckers? They were also right there. There were high-profile pedophiles linked to the 10-1 circles, including government, high society. They were in fact, they weren't even in the vicinity. They were in the neighborhood. And I believe, if you want to hear, I'm gonna say, in terms of Maddie's time frame, I would say definitely by the end of May 4. Boop. By the end of May 4. There's definitely a grouping community involved to some degree. Oh, some degree, you say. The masonries, look here, hidden, the day before, hidden, led by 11-2 masonries. This was masonry, new info, masonry. Masonry. In the +6, there's a 22-4. So this is the grand plan, is it? So masonry, guys, masonry. We need to follow the masonry trail, not the woman driving through the streets at midnight, finds Maddie in the middle of the road, doesn't slam on brakes on time, picks her up and drives away. Bullshit. So look here, there was a problem around here. Hey? So in the +6 of the day before, right? Or the day. But from the night into the day, in the +6, there's 3 9s, as I mentioned. In the -1, beg your pardon. So the day before, there's a 5+5 conflict, followed by 10-1. So there was a 5+5 conflict here. So it's about the group. Something didn't go exactly to plan here either, I don't believe. Huh? As heinous as that sounds, did they want the other children as well? Oh, why just take Maddie? We could have taken the other 2. Or there were 2 others, huh? I think that's what the conflict may have been. Why would the perpetrator only take the big kid and not the 2 small kids? I think there may have been a dispute about how much to get in type of thing, you know what I mean? God's truth. How do people live like this? High society, motherfuckers. Hey, if you want your sparkly Benz, your sparkly luxury things, be in the inner group, get all the contracts, join the white privilege clan. So masonry it is for, I believe that is new information. Masonry is the way to go. So all of those pigs, and apparently there were quite a few of them in town, all of the pigs in town, check their background. Not the German guy. The German guy's too bloody doff to even know that this was going on, right? He was busy probably looking at old ladies at that stage, right? And I don't mean to make light of it, but they try to pin Maddie's crime on him. He is a pig himself. He'll go to hell. Rot with the pigs. But in the case of Maddie, if you want to be with high society, get all the contracts. Masonry motherfuckers. Penguin motherfuckers. You ask Penguin, why Penguin? Why does he call them Penguin people? Illuminati. Different branches, Davidians and all that bullshit. Demon motherfuckers. Worshipping demon motherfuckers. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The crimes they perpetrate on kids in the name of high society and family values. Oh, your future's much more than his. We'll make a plan. Bring him over. We got a lake nearby. All right, before my popcorn gets too toxic, stay safe, stay alert. See you in the next one. Bye for now.